Hi again, friends. It's Ari, the Rusty Pilot, and I hope you're enjoying my videos so far. If you are a pilot that also has not flown in a long time, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your story. I want to hear if you've been thinking about flying again, or if that's just part of your past and you're just an enthusiast but don't think you're going to get in the left seat again, or maybe you're in the same place that I am and you're just saying to yourself, okay, I want to start doing this. I want to hear your story, and so if you would leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you and maybe get some inspiration. I'd also love to hear it if you are a current pilot. Maybe you're even a flight instructor, and you know you're a regular flyer, and you've heard me say something that was just wonky, just totally wrong, whatever. I'm here to learn and to build my skills and hopefully share those skills with some other people, and I want those other people to get the right information. And so if I'm just totally off base with some of this stuff, let me know, because I think we'd be doing a disservice. I think I would be doing a disservice, and I think you would be doing a disservice to this industry if we didn't hear from you and you could tell us the right way to do it. Now, you know, there's a caveat there, which is there's a lot of things that are subjective too, and it doesn't mean that there's only one right way to do things. You know, there could be a lot of right ways. There's certainly some things that are non-negotiable, but yeah, just remember that different people fly with different intentions, and that's okay. But you know, we're all a team up there in the skies, and we watch out for each other. What I wanted to do in this video is get kind of personal, and share with you some of the fears that I have. There are a lot of things that I am scared about in getting back up in the air. And I wanted to tell you about some of them, because I'm you know, to all of my friends and family, I'm you know, it's all green lights, right? And it's all systems go, and I'm trying to stay positive so that they don't see too much of this. But yeah, there are things that scare me about this, and I thought I'd keep it real for you. So I'm just gonna, yeah, I made a little list, because I'm a pilot, so I work on checklists, right? Okay. My first fear is that I'm just not gonna like it. You know, sometimes you remember things differently than they actually happened, and I'm a little bit afraid that I'm going to get back in the airplane and it's just not going to have that same fascination for me. I'm not going to be enthused and enthralled by the power of the machine and the technology and of the magic of flight and of the travel opportunities, and that aviation just won't have the same interest for me as it did. And I'm afraid that that's reality. I'll be honest, that's pretty low on the list. I don't think that's going to be a hurdle for me at all. I think as soon as I do my checklist at the airplane and start up the engine, yell out clear through the window and start up the engine and taxi out onto the runway and hear the controller say clear for takeoff, runway 16 right, or whatever runway I'm on that day. Who knows? I think I'm going to get those butterflies, and I'm going to love every second of it. But I'm afraid that's a reality. I'm also afraid that I have forgotten a lot of my skills. That I've I mean, it's been a lot of years. It was October 2008, and it's now March 2017. So it's been a lot of years. And I'm afraid that I've just forgotten a lot of stuff, and it's not going to be like riding a bicycle. I think there's going to be some things that are going to come back to me really naturally, and I think there are going to be other things that I will have forgotten completely, and I think there are going to be plenty of things in the middle where, you know, it's just one little reminder. And some of those mnemonics, like I had a flight instructor that every time we pulled onto the runway, he said, lights, camera, action, and that really stuck with me. You know, are my landing lights and my taxi, are all of my lights on when I get onto the runway, and a camera, is my transponder on? Okay, good. Let's pull up the throttle. Lights, camera, action. So am I going to remember that stuff? Aviate, navigate, communicate, in that order, you know. And my fear there is not necessarily that I have to relearn it, because you know that's what flying is. You're always learning. But it gets expensive if you have to go up in the air, and and learn all the things that you forgot. And that's time in the airplane that you don't have with your friends because you are spending it with a flight instructor, which is even more money. So I'm afraid that I forgot my skills. I'm a little bit afraid that technology has passed me by. I mean, I grew up in Silicon Valley, and for being the age that I am, I feel like I'm pretty tech savvy. I'm not as advanced as a lot of the people that I live and work and play with, but I'm not a young kid. I didn't grow up with the internet around me all the time and with all these tools around me all the time. And so I'm a little bit worried that there's some new stuff out there that I just am not going to be able to adapt to as well. And since I haven't kept up those skills over time, I'm a little bit afraid about technology having passed me by. And so that's one of the things that I've been doing over the last week or so as I've been prepping for this flight, is trying to learn as much about the current technology as I possibly can. And I addressed that a little bit in my first video, that as I was looking for airplanes to fly in flight schools to be a part of and learn in, I wanted to make sure that they had equipment that was as close to what I remember as possible, so that it can be a nice smooth transition. Yeah, I want to be challenged, and I want to learn the new stuff, and I want to advance, but I want to make sure that that I'm not outdated in my skills. I'm also a little bit afraid that I'm not going to get along with either my instructor or someone else at the school or something like that. And is that the worst thing in the world? Well, I talked a little bit about that in my first video also, where I picked a school specifically that had a lot of instructors, so that if I don't get along with one person, I can maybe find another person. And the worst case scenario, there's luckily a lot of flight schools in this area, so if nothing there works, then maybe I can go somewhere else and learn from them, and that would be a great thing. But for my first flight back out of the gate, I don't want to have that be a negative experience. And so yeah, I'm worried about that. But I think my two biggest fears, the first one is that I am going to love it. I'm afraid that I'm going to love it. I'm afraid that I'm going to be so completely wrapped up in it that it's going to occupy every second of my day. And I'm not going to be able to work, and I'm not going to be able to manage relationships with my friends. And it's just going to become this all-encompassing passion thing. And that alone would suck, because I don't know. I mean, yeah, sure, I'll go flying with you, but then whatever. That alone would suck. But I think what could make that even worse is then I can't afford it, and then it gets really expensive, and am I just gonna set myself up for failure, that I want to do this thing, but I can't pay for the flight time. And so, I also chose a flight school that has some cheaper airplanes, and so if I'm only able to get a couple hours a month or something like that, it's not going to cost me a lot of money. But flying's not cheap, and I'm afraid that I won't be able to afford something that I really love doing. That's my first really big concern. And my second really big concern is just a problem with the airplane. I talked about it in my first video also, that I had a friend that died in a plane crash. He was the only person on board, and it was out in the middle of nowhere. So if there's a bright light in a terrible story, it's that no one else was harmed. But as I've gotten older, I've realized the fragileness. Life is fragile, and I don't want something really bad to happen in an airplane. Yeah. So those are the things I'm afraid of, and maybe I'm missing something on your list, and hopefully you can tell me about that too. So if you would, hit the like button, leave a comment, hit the subscribe button, and tell me about some of the things that you are afraid of when flying an airplane. And I'll see you next time.